Justin, I'll ask you the same thing I asked Josie. Take us through the emotions of the momentum building at the end of the first half to the way everything kind of collapsed in the second half, and then what was the conversation and the mood like in the locker room post game?
Um, yeah, I mean, first half, we knew we didn't, play close to the type of ball we're used to playing, just talking defensively. And then, the conversation in the locker room was, we made our adjustments at halftime, and we knew how important it was going to be to come out and get a stop. And we just didn't do it. And then I think that was just kind of the trickle effect of the whole second half. I think it was a combination of a bunch of different things. And towards the end of the game, myself included, I wouldn't necessarily say it was an effort issue, but it has to be a little bit higher intensity, knowing the situations of what's going on. It's not, like I said, it's not a lack of effort and a want to, guys want to. It's just it has to be that much more amped up. And they're a great team. They do what they do really well, obviously. And so we just needed to find something, and we couldn't do it. So and the locker room at the end of the game was just how you would expect it to be, I guess. It was just very disappointing to see just the outcome of how that whole game went. So
next one, Aaron.
Yeah, Justin, a couple for you. First one, what happened there on that last long touchdown run in your eyes?
We were in zero, and you're thinking they run it inside, it's a stop, because you're in zero coverage, it's a gap for a gap. You're just told in those situations, especially if you have a man, eyes on your man, make sure you see it through. Obviously we were all expecting run, and then next thing you know, he pops out of the ground, and guys are, it's one of those things, you put your head down, you just start going, and then he makes a cutback. And, that was one of the things I was talking about. It wasn't an effort issue. It was just being aware, not just running, nonchalantly, or not nonchalantly, but not just like running to run, like running with a purpose, and knowing what's going on, and thinking he's just going to get down and kind of end the game, and obviously cut back and ended up scoring. So I knew I had my corner outside of me, but still, it's zero. You're not really – it's an open field tackle. You got to make those in the NFL, especially myself. And so that's what happened.
And then how frustrating was it in the red zone on a couple of those series? They had penalties that backed them up to the 20, to the 30, and we're still able to get those scores. Just kind of the frustration when that happens.
Yeah, it's just frustrating. I heard Josie explain it. There's just with just so much of what's going on, you got guys a lot of the times compensating and just trying to make up for in areas that they shouldn't make up on. That's the thing that happens. You get caught up in the flow of the game and how things are going and what you're seeing, and you just got to ultimately play to your job, and it's just tough. And like I said, it's not. There are a lot of times we beat ourselves up, just speaking defensively, but they're a great offensive team. I think everyone knows that, and so we had our work cut out for us, and we just didn't make nearly enough of the plays we should have. So
next one, Andrew.
Obviously, the safeties sometimes have to help out the corners in coverage, but just given what you guys have lost the cornerback position, how much do you think the Bills really kind of picked on those guys and made it rough for them today?
Yeah, I think I just think, Allen and Diggs, they have a pretty good connection in year one, which is special because, lack of OTAs and training camp and a new addition to the offense. But obviously that's been something that they've gone to a lot. And, I think he has, he's the first receiver this season with 100 receptions or something like that before the game. And so, that's tough for every team that's played against him, right? They've been doing that kind of all season long, and we just needed to find a way to just get something going on that end. Corners, safeties, linebackers, D-line. And, on a defense, it never just falls on one guy. there's multiple layers to calls and to how we can help guys out. And so it was unfortunate, obviously, what happened. And the whole time you're just sitting there thinking like, man, we got to find a way to make something happen so we can just get a little bit of momentum, start making some plays. And we made a couple of nice plays, but like I said, not nearly enough.
Final two, Kyle and Troy.
Justin, obviously you mentioned Diggs, and covering him's a tall task. What do you think Devontae Bausby can take away from just a tough night like this?
Obviously it's not a night we liked by any stretch of the imagination, but I think the competitiveness of, being in the right position, and sometimes, better offense just beats really good defense. And it's not an excuse, but I just think a lot of the times, there were times where we were really tight in coverage and, they might have fit a ball in there every now and then. There were times where we weren't even close. He runs good routes and things like that, but we weren't even close. And we just got to be able to compete a little bit better on that end. And so I think that's one of the better duos that, you're going to see throughout the NFL, and they do a good job of just doing what they do. I know I keep harping on that, but they're a good team for a reason. And we see that, you can't make mistakes against teams like that because that'll be the outcome.
Final one, Troy.
Justin, I know how tough it is in a loss like this. It's 4 straight years of losing seasons, 5 years without the playoffs. When you look at this season, do you still see like that there's some hope there? And you look at, no OTAs and injuries. How do you, because Broncos country's obviously angry and frustrated, how do you frame this after a game, when you clinch a losing season?
Yeah, it's tough. Like, we all know the expectations here, in Denver, and the tradition, the winning tradition that this organization has. And, to be here my whole career and not be a part of the playoffs and have 4 straight losing seasons, like you said, is tough. It's a tough pill to swallow. I think there are a lot of things that go into that. And I do believe that, there are a lot of the right pieces, and it's just unfortunate this year that, we've hit the injury bug, and I think this is a weird year for everyone, and COVID and the pandemic. And so it's just finding ways to fight through that and not using it as an excuse, because ultimately no one cares. There's no asterisk next to our record saying injury and COVID-19, it just says wins or losses, and that's all anyone cares about. So at the end of the day, of course, I'm always going to be hopeful, especially because I believe we do have a really good team, especially when we're healthy. But it just stinks to kind of live in that, knowing that this is another year where it's a losing season. But I will say, just because it's a losing season doesn't mean that there isn't things that are positive and you can grow off of. So that's the mindset.